Hello young guys, good evening. You are welcome in the zoology class run by Society of Career Technology and Jan Vikas Mahasabha. We were discussing about endocrines. Last but not the least, today we will talk about parathyroid gland, thymus and pineal. Before coming to the parathyroid gland, I would like to tell you a basic principle of physiology, cybernetics and homeostasis. The concept of cybernetics was given in 1970 by a French scientist, Norbert Wiener. Norbert Wiener said that actually cybernetics is the science of control or science of steering. So Norbert Wiener said that the control mechanism is more or less same in both animate object and inanimate object. He said that the control mechanism of inanimate object is servo mechanism and control mechanism of living system is called homeostasis. For example, if you are driving on a road, your driving depends upon two things, one the accelerator and other retarder. If you get free space, you use the accelerator, increase the speed. If you see a dog coming in front of you or a cow, then you use the brake or retarder. Similarly, after a physical exercise, when our body energy requirement is increased, then what happens? Sympathetic nerves come forward and increase our heartbeat and respiratory rate for some time. At the same time, parasympathetic nerves work just opposite to it, and within 5-6 minutes parasympathetic nerves try to bring our respiratory rate or heartbeat up to the normal state. So there is a similarity. For the living system, the concept was given by Claude Bernard, and Claude Bernard said that all our body cells are exposed to two types of environment. One, the external environment which is present around us. The cold, heat, light, darkness, smell, all things present around our body makes the external environment. Secondly, Claude Bernard said that the environment present around the cell, which is bathed by blood, lymph and extracellular fluid, is the internal environment. And blood brings food from alimentary canal, leaves here, and from here it is passed inside the cell. Blood brings oxygen from the respiratory organ, leaves here in this internal environment, and then oxygen enters in the cell. So Claude Bernard said that this internal environment is very important, and he also said that all our physiological processes have one common responsibility, that they always try to keep our internal environment constant. So the concept was given by Claude Bernard. Later on, Walter B. Cannon in 1951 used the word homeostasis for the first time. The maintenance of a constant internal environment is called homeostasis. Homeostasis is achieved by two methods, either by two opposing forces or by negative feedback. We can get an example in case of parathyroid gland, both negative feedback and two opposing forces. Let us see how. As you know, just below our sound box or larynx, on the two sides of trachea, we have a thyroid gland which is made up of two lobes. Inside this thyroid gland, we get two pairs of very small parathyroid gland. And these parathyroid gland control the blood calcium level. Calcium ions are very important. They are important for blood clotting. They are important for functioning of nerve fiber. They are important for functioning of muscle fibers, and for permeability of all cells also. Calcium ion is important. So the calcium ion level is maintained constant in our body. There is a storage organ for calcium in our body. All the bones and the teeth are the storage organ for calcium. But the bones are not static tissue, they are very dynamic tissue. Every time a remodeling goes on in the bones. There are osteoblast cells which perform the function of bone formation. There are osteoclast cells which perform the dissolution of bone, and so the calcium ion come into blood circulation. Every time along with our food we get about 1 gram of calcium, about 1000 milligram. From this 90% means about 900 milligram calcium goes on outside as such along with fishes. It is not utilized. Only 10% of the calcium taken by food is absorbed in the blood even by the action of vitamin D. If vitamin D is insufficient in our body, more calcium will go out along with fishes and it will not come into blood circulation. So the patient may get calcium deficiency in the form of rickets, osteomalacia, etc. So about 100 milligram calcium comes daily after absorption into blood circulation. The blood calcium level is maintained constant at 10 milligram per 100 ml blood level. And we have a very beautiful system for maintaining this blood calcium level constant. As soon as blood calcium level drops down from 10 milligram per 100 ml level, immediately the message goes to the parathyroid gland. Parathyroid gland secretes PTH or parathormone, and by the action of this parathormone, some calcium from the storage organ is brought into the blood circulation. Now, as soon as blood calcium level reaches the normal level or slightly above the normal level, immediately it cuts off the PTH secretion. So no more calcium is brought from the storage organ into the blood. It is interesting to note that there are some calcitonin cells or C cells which secrete a calcitonin hormone. In 1962, D.H. Kopp discovered this. And whenever in blood calcium level increases the normal level, then calcitonin hormone is secreted, and that calcitonin hormone mobilizes some surplus blood calcium up to the storage organ. In case of birds, every day one egg is being manufactured. For that, estrogen hormone also comes forward to mobilize some blood calcium to form egg covering. In gestation period in human being also, in a female, when a fetus is developing, its bones are being formed, some blood calcium is mobilized to form the bone of the child by the action of estrogen hormone. So this way the blood calcium level is maintained constant. Besides this, just on the dorsal surface of diencephalon part of the brain, there is a pineal gland. Pineal gland, or also called epiphysis cerebri, it secretes a hormone, melatonin. In cold-blooded animals, melatonin hormone acts just opposite to MSH. It changes the dark color skin into light color, bleaches it. It is a photochemical transducer. So the information of dark and light, day and night photoperiod. That information is received by pineal gland, and pineal gland secretes a hormone melatonin. Melatonin hormone keeps a control on our sleep pattern, sleeping pattern and the rising pattern. At what time we go to sleep, at what time we come out of sleep. That is controlled by melatonin hormone. So whenever we go to a foreign trip, in plane journey, one person starts from one country in the night. After 12 hours journey, he reaches into another country where it is a night. So his sleep pattern becomes disturbed, and it takes about 5-7 days to regulate his sleep pattern again, and that is also called jet lag. Sometimes if there is a problem, then doctors give a melatonin hormone injection to such persons. Pineal gland is much more developed in young stage. But in aging, some calcium starts depositing in the pineal, and the pineal gets less functional. So in the childhood, pineal gland is much more developed. In adult stage, it starts reducing in function. Pineal melatonin is also gonad inhibiting. There is one more gland, thymus. After thymus, after thyroid, the largest endocrine gland, thymus is the second largest gland. And it is also much more developed in the young stage. With aging pattern, it becomes reduced. It secretes a hormone thymosin. Thymosin is also gonad inhibiting, and it helps in our immunity or disease fighting capacity. So this much about the endocrine. On the next time we will talk about some questions about endocrine. Thank you very much.